Shalom to the Lord's elect of the nation of Israel. This is the opening precept, Ecclesiasticus, or also known as Sirach, out of the Apocrypha, chapter 37, verse 28. For all things are not profitable for all men, neither hath every soul pleasure in everything. Give all praises to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Quadash. Yahweh, that's the true name of the Heavenly Father, who the world through ignorance calls God. Jehovah, or Yahweh, Yahweh in the ancient Hebrew, means He is, He to be, or He exists. Bahasham, in the name of Yahweh Shai, who the world through ignorance calls Jesus Christ, or any other name not according to the ancient Hebrew. Double honor to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, which are the men that taught me the 100% truth according to the Holy Scriptures. Again, in these last days, according to biblical prophecy, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you make up the 12 tribes of Israel. The name of this lesson is Yes, or Khan. You can read other books besides the Holy Scriptures, right, or the Holy Bible, but eat the meat and spit out the bones. Okay, eat the meat and spit out the bones when reading other books. Now, what I want to do is get the understanding of this dark saying, okay, what it means to eat the meat and spit out the bones. It says here, what does it mean? What does it mean to eat the meat? Or what does eat the meat and spit out the bones mean? It says to take in a great deal of information or data and selectively disregard some of it as invalid or inapplicable. Okay, to take a great deal of data, right? Data is also known as information, and selectively disregard some of it as invalid or inapplicable. Okay, you go into the word unapplicable. Okay, let's get that word.
Inapplicable.
Okay, irrelevant. You see, immaterial, and that's why I brought out that precept, the opening precept in Sirach 37:28. For all things are not profitable. So another word for not profitable, that's where you get the word
Inapplicable.
Inapplicable. Okay, it's irrelevant. And like they say in the world, okay, let me get that old saying. One man's trash is another man's treasure. You see, one man's trash is another man's treasure. See that? And I'll give brothers examples. You might be a brother that's into weightlifting. You know, you like to lift weights, bench press, pretty much bodybuilding. See? And whereas you might have another brother who doesn't, lift weights, but, for whatever reason, he might have, gotten a small gift, of various books, okay, or maybe the brother's teacher during his high school years or even in college, gave that brother, okay, a book of lifting weights. You see, how to bodybuild. But for that brother, it's not profitable unto him. okay, for him that book that was given unto him, okay, of weightlifting, for him is trash. Meaning, he has that book, but he ain't gonna read it. He knows, it's not gonna benefit him, in that particular year. Okay, maybe throughout the years, maybe 5, 10 years from now, he might read that book to gain the knowledge of how to build muscles, or how to use certain you know weights. Okay, but in that year, just giving it an example, in that year the brother, okay, might tell the other brother, hey, look, I see that you like lifting weights, and getting gains. Here I have this book called, giving brothers examples, okay, how to get bigger biceps, okay, or how to build a bigger body. You see, so for that brother that was given that book in that particular year, for him at that point, it might be trash. You see, but for another brother, that's treasure, man. You see, I hope I gave the proper example, but that's just one example that I had in mind right now. You see, so that would be an example of, for all things are not profitable for all men. You might have a book that's that you just have there, man, that you might have gone to Barnes and Nobles, but because of you might have been bored or whatever, you just bought that book just for buying it. And that book can be about maybe like cooking book, or just a random book that you might have just read the blurb, the back of the book. You might have gotten intrigued with the title, with the images, but you only read one page, and you just have it there at home, just sitting around. Okay, what does it profit you to have a book that's just sitting around? Okay, your room, or wherever you have that book. Okay, how is that going to profit you in the long run? Why not share that book, okay, that wisdom, okay, with another brother that's profitable unto him? So going back to Sirach 37:28, for all things are not profitable for all men, neither hath every soul pleasure in everything. Now, if you're an Israelite man, primarily of the elect, the scriptures, the book of the law, that's profitable for an Israelite man. Okay, for what? For correction. Okay, for perfection and understanding of the scriptures. But for other men, okay, for Esau, if he was to read, the holy scriptures of the Israelites, the Hebrew Israelites, there's an example of it's not profitable for him. You see, because Esau has no pleasure in the scriptures, man. Okay, that's why Yahweh Shemiah Shai told Esau, "What hast thou to do?" Psalms 50:16. But unto the wicked, Yahweh saith, "What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?" You see? Or as well, you might have an individual who reads a book, okay, and he thinks it's gonna profit him in the long run. But after reading that book, maybe he gets he gets confounded. Okay, just giving examples of what's profitable and what's not profitable unto men. See, that's why brothers have to be, very careful, when reading certain books. But that's just the simple, the basic examples of what it means to eat the meat and spit out the bones. Okay, get what's profitable onto you and discard, okay, or disregard, various you know sciences or knowledge of this world. Okay, the world of Esau that will not profit you brothers in the long run. So here I took notes, okay, and I wrote that we read, and the we, that's the Israelite man and woman, but primarily the man, other books to expound on historical events that link with the Holy Scriptures. Yeah, and examples of books that brothers read to expound, okay, on historical events according to the Scriptures. Hey, this one right here, from Babylon to Timbuktu. Now, this is an example of a book that's profitable unto all Israelite men. You see, when going to the highways and hedges, a brother has to study to show himself approved, okay, and bring out historical facts according to the topic that's being talked about. You see, another example is this one here, who is Esau Edom. You can link this one with the book of Obadiah, the book of Ezekiel, Genesis 25. See that? So these are examples of the title of this lesson. Yes, you can read other books besides the Holy Scriptures. Now, you might find misconceptions and fallacies, okay, which the word fallacy and misconceptions when reading other books.
Fallacy.
Okay, they might have mistaken beliefs or beliefs not based on a proper argument, a fantasy, deceit, deception. You see, because these other books, hey, that's why it's called the Holy Bible, the Holy Scriptures. The word holy means separate. The reason why the Scriptures are separated from any other book is because there is no fallacy in them. There's no misconception. Okay, there's no misinterpretation. Matter of fact, let me get a scripture that goes into that. Whereas these other books that we read, whether it's a historical book, whether it's a
interpretation,
a book of bibliography of a certain individual, they have all kinds of flaws. See, all kinds of blemishes. 2 Peter 1:20, knowing this first, that no prophecy of the Scriptures is of any private interpretation. You see, so there is no fallacies and there is no misconceptions when reading the Holy Scriptures. Verse 21, for the prophecy came not in old time by the will of man, but holy men of Yahweh spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit. So what makes the Holy Bible different than any other book is that the Scriptures have the 100% accuracy of biblical facts, biblical knowledge, from wisdom to knowledge, how to educate your son, how to educate your nation. See, that's profitable unto every Israelite man, the Holy Scriptures. Now, if you're the wicked, reading the Holy Scriptures ain't gonna profit you, because the Holy Scriptures actually condemn, okay, the heathens, okay, and especially Esau, Edom. So how is it gonna profit a a devil, okay, to learn our righteousness? Now, on the other hand, Esau, Edom might use the scriptures, okay, to justify his own doctrine. You see, justify his own beliefs. But at the end of the day, it's all going to come out in light. It's going to come out as a fallacy and misconception, because what Esau did, he mingled, okay, his own belief, like it tells you in Jeremiah, okay, the heart is deceitful, okay, above all things. Who can know it? You see? So going back to the notes, it says we read other books to expound on historical events, and that's facts. You see, historical events. Here you have another example: the wisdom of Native Americans. You see, so okay, this book. If you're a Gadite, you might be a brother from the tribe of Gad or Reuben. Hey, you want to learn more about Gad? You want to learn more about your ancestors? Well, primarily we go into the Holy Scriptures, and we learn about Gad. We learn about the warriors of the Gadites in ancient times. But maybe you want to be a brother that wants to expound on that and read, modern wisdom, okay, of Gad. You see, and there's another book, another example. It's called The Wisdom of the Native Americans. Now, again, I give examples. There's going to be fallacies in this book. An example of a fallacy, you might have, Gad, in a specific chapter, that goes into, for example, Gad calls Yahweh, gives him a title of the Great Spirit. You see? And in depth, that's a fallacy, because the name of the Heavenly Father is not the Great Spirit. His name is Yahweh. Okay, now it might be a title, see? But it's a misconception of calling him the Great Spirit. Just giving brothers, these in-depth and basic, examples, when reading other books. See that? Now you might like I gave brothers the example of eating the meat and spitting out the bones. You might have Gad that speaks in this book about the ways of Esau, the ways of the so-called white man. You're not going to find Esau here, but you will find the so-called white man, okay? The white man stealing the resources of the Native Americans. We can link that to John 10:10. Okay, the thief cometh not but to steal and to destroy. You see? So that's an example of the title of this lesson. Yes, okay, you can read other books besides the Holy Bible, but eat the meat and spit out the bones. You see that? And those bones are examples of knowledge or wisdom of Esau that's gonna make you choke. You're gonna choke, okay, by trying to use that wisdom to profit you. Now, for another brother, you might read, okay, certain topics of other books, and that might benefit you. You see that? It might benefit you, okay, but it might not benefit another brother. So there's a perfect balance in this truth. This is the book of 2 Timothy 2:15. Study to show yourself approved unto Yahweh. You see? So studying first and foremost is the scriptures, the law and the testimony. And after you grow in the faith, okay, you start expounding in your studies with other books, okay, historical books, okay, even dictionaries. Dictionaries have other examples here. Maybe if you're a brother that's a leader of your camp, might be a leader of your camp, after 10 years, you want to expound, okay, on warfare, spiritual warfare, leadership. Hey, you can read the book of The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Or maybe you might be a younger brother. You might be in the truth barely a year. But in your mind, okay, in your spirit, you're like, hey man, I feel like one day I'm going to be a leader, okay, for the sheep. Well, this is a good book to read. Okay, The Art of War, Sun Tzu. And again, you might read about certain topics in carnal means. Okay, how to destroy your enemy. But you could apply that and turn it into a spiritual aspect. You see, various tactics. Just giving again, brothers, examples of, the bones and the meat. Again, a man's trash might be another man's treasure. Something that you read might not profit you. It might be a bone unto you. You might choke. But for another brother, that bone for him, it's like unto meat, or vice versa. The meat that you eat out of certain books, okay, might be a bone for another brother, or the bone that you spit out, it might be a meat for another brother. See that? Just giving brothers examples. Now another example, okay, is the Quran. Now this is collectively, Quran. We understand that the word Quran means the recitation or reciting or a copy or a small copy of the Holy Scriptures. See, and the reason why brothers read the Quran is to confound their own doctrine. You see, and what I mean by their own doctrine is the doctrine of Ishmael. Okay, and Ishmael is very heavy into the Quran, Prophet Muhammad and things of that nature. But let me show you, brothers, something here. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Should be in a surah. There's another example. This is in the Quran. Khan. This is Surat al-Baqarah, chapter 2. Okay, now there's an example of a collective profitable scripture in the Quran that can be used to expound, okay, on the doctrine that Yahweh Shemel Shai's favorite nation is Israel, okay, and we can use the Quran, okay, the same book of the Ishmaelites and these other fallacies and misconception beliefs, to prove a point. You see, this is in the Quran, chapter 2, Surah al-Baqarah. It says by translations. These are translations. It says by Sahih International, O children of Israel, remember my favor which I have bestowed upon you, and that I preferred you over all the worlds. You see that? So there's an example of the reason why an Israelite man reads other books like the Quran, okay, is to benefit them, benefit a brother when having a dialogue, slash debate slash argument with a Muslim, especially Ishmael, thinking they're the chosen ones of the Lord. But out of his own book, it says what? O children of Israel, remember my favor, which I have bestowed upon you, and I preferred you over all the world. Now this is the translation. It's called Pickthall. It says, O children of Israel, remember my favor, wherewith I favor you, and how I preferred you to all creatures. See that? And Shakir, O children of Israel, call to mind my favor, which I bestowed on you, and that I made you excel nations. See, so all these translations, okay, benefit, like brother when reading other books. That's an example of eating the meat. You see, eating the meat. That's just one of a few examples in the Quran of eating the meat. Now you might read about the false prophet, false prophet Muhammad and his various fallacies. That will be an example of a bone that you have to spit out. And if you eat that bone, you're gonna choke, and you might, start doubting. You start, going off on certain things. See that? So we already got Sirach 37 and 28. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 12. Ecclesiastes 12 and 12, and it reads, and further, by these my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end. See? So hey, there's thousands of hundreds of millions of books, man. Different sciences, books about biology, Scientology. You see, many books. So you can't be just a brother or a sister that reads, all subjects. You might, biology, Scientology. You might go into different subjects, but then you forget about the real subject, which is prophecy. See that? Focusing on this topic and this other topic, focusing on this subject and this other subject, and then you leave the Holy Scriptures. You forget about the law and the testimony. See? And much study is a weariness of the flesh. See? Much studying these other books, man. These other subjects, that will take away your focus from the scriptures. You see? But now again, Yahweh Shemel Shai said what? Leviticus in the law, 1936. Just balances, just weights, and a just ephah, and a just hin shall ye have. I am the Lord your power, which brought you out of the land of Egypt. Okay, that's in the law. Gotta have proper balances. But spiritually speaking, Proverbs 16:11, a just weight and balance are the Lord's. All the weights of the bag are his work. So at the end of the day, man, Yahweh Shemel Shai, he created all things. He created the left and the right side. He created both good and evil. So just like Yahweh Shemel Shai created both good and evil, which that's an example of a just weight, and a balance. And you gotta be able to discern and judge according to your law, okay, according to your position in this truth. Again, I gave the examples in the intro. You see, you might have a book that you just have it sitting around, around the house, that you know that's not gonna profit you. That you don't even read, but it might profit another brother. See, and going into the just weights and a balance is when reading other books, man. You got to make sure you always go back to the scriptures and make sure there's no misconceptions or fallacies in that book that you were reading, and you were you're trying to connect that that certain statement out of whatever book you're reading, and try to link it to the doctrine of Yahweh Shemel Shai. You see, it says all the weights of the bag are His work. So, the Lord is a Lord of a proper balance, man. Let's get another one. This is Sirach 20 and 30. Wisdom that is hid and treasure that is hoarded up, what profit is in them both? See? So you might have a whole library in your house, man. You might have already read all those books. You might have read the book of Sun Tzu by or the book let me get that one more time, Salakia. Which one was it? The Art of War. Yeah, The Art of War. You might have that book, you read it maybe like 10 times, and you just have it there, in your so-called library. You might have this other book too. It's called Behold a Pale Horse. Just giving examples of books that I've read. You see, you might have this book in your library. Okay. And you read it, but now it's not profitable unto you. At once it was profitable unto you, because you gain a certain knowledge, certain wisdom. But now you have it at your library. You haven't touched it for a few months or even years. But then you might have a new brother that's coming into the truth, that wants to learn about biography, or certain facts about Esau Edom, exposing his kingdom. You see, it will be that brother that's been reading this book over 10 times, and try to help another brother out by telling the brother, hey, look, I have a book called Behold a Pale Horse, read by the author William Cooper, which he used to be I believe he was a CIA intel, okay, or a CIA asset. You see, and then you give brother the wisdom of, when reading this book, eat the meat and spit out the bones. Okay, get what's important and disregard anything that has a misconception or a fallacy, not according to the scriptures. You see, hey, I pray this is a perfect example that I'm giving out. See, so, and that's another example of wisdom that is hid and treasure that is hoarded up, what profit is in them both. So, hey, it's off, man, having certain books, wisdom and knowledge just hidden, under a napkin, and not sharing it to other brothers. You see, this is Sirach 4 and 24. Okay, the book of Sirach 4 and 24. And it reads, your wisdom Sirach 4 and 23. Never hesitate to speak out when the occasion calls for it. Don't hide your wisdom. This is in the JNT version. Your wisdom and education can be known only by what you say. See that? And that's how knowledge is known from speaking. Okay, the oracles. Okay, first and foremost, the oracles of the Heavenly Father. But the point here is don't hide your wisdom. See, again, like I gave the example, you might be a brother that's a bodybuilder. You know, you've been doing weights for about 10 years, and you might have a newer brother. He might want to be a bodybuilder. You know, he might want to get a little bigger. Okay, well, if you're that brother that's been in the truth for 10 years, he knows about lifting weights, the proper techniques. Hey, well, don't hide your wisdom. Okay, from that brother, you gotta share that wisdom. Okay, properly, in order for that brother to grow thereby. You see, your wisdom and your education can be known only by what you say, from what you've learned, okay, in the past. I already got 2 Timothy 2:15. Let me get Proverbs 15:28. The heart or the mind, okay, the word heart in the Hebrew is la'ab, of the righteous studieth to answer. See, so your mind, as an Israelite man, has to be, okay, trained, okay, or conditioned to answer when you're asked a question. Matter of fact, meekness and fear. This is the book of 1 Peter 3:15. But sanctify the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai in your mind and your hearts, and be ready always to give an answer. Be always ready to give an answer. Proverbs 15:28. The heart of the righteous studieth to answer, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asketh you a reason of the hope that is in you, with meekness and fear. You see, so that's why it's beneficial for brothers to read, okay, other other books according to what's profitable unto you. You see, again, you might be at camp, you might have a camp session, it might be 4 or 5 brothers, 3 brothers, and you might even be by yourself. You might have a I'll give the example because I have the experience on this, through the Spirit. You might have a Mormon that comes to the camp, and he might ask you, who is salvation for, or just whatever questions these Mormons have. At times it'll be like, what are you guys teaching? As an example, of asking you a question, and because of you studying to show yourself approved, because of your readiness to always give an answer to every man, might be a Mormon man, might be a Mormon woman, might be a Jehovah Wickedness woman or man, might be a so-called a Catholic, an atheist, agnostic, Muslim. You see, just giving out examples. Okay. Well, when you're sanctified by Yahweh Shema Shai in your mind and you study, you will always be ready to answer every man that's asking you questions about, your hope or your faith. Okay, and when you answer, you gotta answer with fear and meekness of Yahweh Shema Shai. That's what it means here in Proverbs 15:28. The heart or the mind of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things. Yeah, and a wicked man that poureth out evil things, it's a man that that when he was reading certain books he ate both the bones and the meat. He ate the bones and he choked. You see, which that was not profitable unto him. That's another example of the wicked pouring out evil things. See, might teach about the book of Enoch, the book of Yasher, and the flat Earth theory. These are examples of pouring out evil things. Now, amongst these other books, like the book of Enoch, various theories of the flat Earth, various chapters might have something that's profitable to use against that doctrine. You see, that's an example of a meat. Okay. But when you have a man who reads the whole book and thinks it's all profitable unto him, at the end of the day, he's going to speak what wicked things, wicked and evil things. See that? Let me get one more. This is Ecclesiastes 7:3. But before I get that, let me get the book of Ecclesiastes. It says more wisdom, more sorrow. This is Ecclesiastes 1:18. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. Okay, he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. And that's actually beneficial, man. That's actually a good thing. It's a good thing to have much wisdom. Okay, that's gonna increase your knowledge. Okay, of self. Okay, because the word knowledge means to know. But through you knowing, okay, the scriptures first and foremost, that's gonna increase sorrow. But guess what? According to the scriptures, sorrow is a good thing. Ecclesiastes 7:3. Sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance, the heart or the mind is made better. See that? So in this world, this world teaches you to, which there's nothing wrong to have laugh, like it tells you in the scriptures. Laughter. Okay, Sirach 21:20. A fool lifted up his voice with laughter. So a fool, a person of this world, he laughs at everything. He thinks everything's a joke. Okay, he thinks prophecy is a joke. He thinks the law is a joke. He thinks that every weekend is partying and laughing and rejoicing. But if you're a wise man, okay, you're barely gonna smile. Okay, you're scarcely gonna smile. You're barely gonna have your little laughs here and there. Why? Because you understand what's ready to come upon the earth. See? Okay, you're an Israelite man who understands that the laughter of these people are gonna turn into sorrow, and our sorrow is gonna turn into laughter, man. That's that perfect balance. So at this moment, sorrow is better than laughter. See, and the way you gain sorrow is through what I read in Ecclesiastes. Okay, was that the first chapter? Okay, for in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth in knowledge increaseth in sorrow. And that's a good thing. You see, for by the sadness of the countenance, the heart, the mind is made better. Yeah, meaning your mind's going to get strong. And finish it off with wisdom and knowledge. You see, Isaiah 33:6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. What is wisdom and knowledge? We just read that in Ecclesiastes, the first chapter. The more wisdom, the more knowledge you gain, the more sorrow. So that sorrowness that you feel at this moment, for you brothers and sisters out there, that's going to keep you stable in the times to come, which is going to give you strength of salvation, because you understand okay, the proper, okay, traits, okay, of the elect that are gonna gain salvation. They will be stable, and they will have a sorrow of mind. The fear of the Lord, you see, the fear of Yahweh Shemel Shai is his treasure. So going back to First Peter, what was that? 3:15, to answer a man with meekness and fear. You see, having the proper answers with the fear of Yahweh Shemel Shai, that's true treasure, man. You see, that's the true meat. Okay, that you have to eat and digest in order to be wise and knowledgeable, according to what? According to your law. So going back to Sirach 37 and 28. Let me get in the GNT version, see what it says. Sirach 37 and 28. It says 27, my child, as you go through life, keep your appetite under control and don't eat anything that you know is bad for you. Sirach 37 and 28, and that's spiritual, man. You see, it says here, not everything is good for everyone, and no one enjoys everything. You see, again, you might have a book, okay, that has 20 chapters, but out of those whole 20 chapters, only one chapter is beneficial unto you. That's something that you enjoy, whereas the other 19 chapters, okay, it's not a beneficial, man. See that? It's not profitable unto you. Now, when you link that to scriptures, okay, Yahweh Shemel Shai told Ezekiel, eat the whole row. Eat both the bitter part and the sweet part of this knowledge that I'm giving you. So at the end of the day, it's gonna benefit you in the long run. It's gonna benefit you during Jacob's trouble. It's gonna benefit you, okay, according to your lot. You see that? So again, the title of this lesson is, yes, Khan, you can read other books besides the Holy Bible, but eat the meat and spit out the bones. Hey, I pray this was edifying, man. I pray I gave out the proper in-depth and basic examples of what it means to eat the meat and spit out the bones when reading other books besides the Holy Scriptures. With that, I want to say Shalom.